So at the beginning of camp, what we were doing was we were hauling stuff down. You know, the tents, our stuff, our stuff, all of our chairs, the food coolers, the grills, that thing. We were hauling all that stuff down, and the camp, who we had to cut through because we had all this heavy stuff. Not one kid, everyone in their camp agreed, everyone, that they should kick us out for walking through it. And we had a ton of heavy stuff. So hold on, let me get a little map going. There was the trailer. There was our camp. There was their camp. And then, you know, camps scattered everywhere out here. Who knows? Actually, sure. First aid, trading post. Clear over here. Archery. Well, shooting range. But who knows? It was actually pretty fun and all. But just the camp kicked us out. So we had to get a loop clear around to get to our camp. Go all the way back, loop back around. When we started off, we could just cut through there. That was it. But then we had to loop all the way around and all the way back. And yeah, it's getting repetitive. That's the first little camp story I have. Yeah. No. Yep, now it's gone. Okay. That's the first of my camp stories. We were all done. We didn't like each other, but hey, we all just went and slept in our beds. You know, we just laid down and talked the entire time. I don't know. I kind of forgot the first day. But then, as time went on, there was this one kid, and what will we call him? To protect his identity, we'll call him, I think here, Justin. Justin shall be his name. Again, I have a very, very gravelly voice right now. I don't know why. But this Justin kid. So what happened was, we had a fire starting competition. I was sitting there. My buddy was like there. And then one more guy, I kind of forgot who it was this time, was right there. And then we all had to go around and grab our stuff, and no one used any of the material. Like, it was supposed to be fire starting competition, and you could use anything that you brought with you, but no one did that. So I had a paper towel that was like soaked in some stuff. I don't know why I just picked it up. I had a paper towel, he had a paper towel. Mine lights. And then this, oh, I forget what I just called him. The Justin kid was sitting here. He goes to his knees, slides over, blows it out, and then runs away. Yeah, that's what happened. I was so upset. I'm not sure where it is, but there was a tree like right there, and my buddy Daniel or nowhere, still sitting there like he always did. He's like, go punch that tree, and I'm like, no. I want something soft to punch. That's my little story. At least for now. And then the second one. I told this riddle. I'm kind of self-conscious in my gravelly little voice I have. But I told a riddle that went along the lines of you could only ask yes or no questions. And I don't think he was very bright. But there was this story, and it was set up so that, I don't know, it's good. I don't need demonstrations. You people can just imagine it on your own. There was this man who locked himself in his office. He shot himself in the head. Gun in one hand, phone in the other. And he was alone in his office. Phone in one hand, gun in the other. And a cane in the corner with sawdust. I don't care right now. There was a cane in the corner with sawdust. It was a very, very short cane. My buddy Nowhere, or Daniel, lazy, he decided, well, I was telling the story and he was the best at it apparently. I was just, sitting there. I was right here. Yes, exactly right here. And the kid, I forgot what I called him again. Justin. I call him that because all the other Justins I know were kind of jerks to me. Or complete strangers, so, But the kid, I named him Justin. He'd be like on, another demonstration. Not right now. So I'd just be sitting here, and he'd be right there. Right in my face. Just right there. He'd be like, was it his boss? And I'd be like, no, it wasn't. He'd ask, was it family? And I'd be like, no. And he'd ask, was it his boss? And I'd be like, for the 3,000th time, no. Kept asking the same thing over and over again. Got pretty annoying. He acted like he was some drunk person. He acted really drunk. Like, I mean, way too close, pushing up against you, like rubbing your face. Then earlier today, when I'm making this video, I was talking to some friends, and they're like, and the lady who was near us was saying, well, why weren't you being nice to the kid? And it's like, we were, but the kid was being was a jerk to all of us. So we were sitting there talking about it, and it's like, well, you teach him to be nice. And it's like, oh, there was no teaching him. Exactly. Kind of needed help, if you catch my drift. But like, so he was sitting there pushing up against me, rubbing me. Eventually, and his mom came with us, and so he was like complaining to his mom, and she told me, if you don't tell him in the next 2 hours, and I was like, no, you have to tell him in the next 2 hours. And I'm like, well, that takes away from it, because then no one's being smart. Not right now. So, as we were sitting there, I'll get a bird's eye view. I was over there. He was really right there up against me. We had a chair over there. This is not orientated correctly, though. That was over there. That was over there. That was there. Wait, no, that. I'm trying to remember everything. That was there, which means everything was supposed to be turned. And then the exit was through there, where the table is. That's how it really was, but this is just my setup. But I was just sitting there, minding my own business. He was pushing up against me, rubbing up against me and all. And yeah, the log did look like that. My buddy, who was the zombie head, we'll call him Zeke, I guess. His older brother liked to sit right here. So, let's just get a little demonstration going. What should we name him? George, why not? You kinda got your head on backwards, buddy. Okay, there we go. So George, as I call him, is sitting there. My buddy Zeke was, I don't know actually where he was, but he loved to sit there. Zeke, no, not Zeke, Zeke's older brother. Aw, killed him. Oh boy, I'm now starting to lose all the names. Don't worry. Zeke's older brother, I don't remember what I just called him. He'll come in place later. Right over here, just saying. But he was acting on... sorry, I'm getting off track. This is just a long story time. He was pushing up against me, rubbing me around and stuff. And so eventually he got his mom to force me to tell everyone. And how it ends is... the man is very short, and he shot himself because he had a criminal record, and the doctor he works in the circus, oh, sorry. And the doctor called him, telling him he was getting taller, meaning he was going to get kicked out of the circus, meaning he wouldn't have any more money. Isn't that right, Zeke's older brother? So he had no signs of depression or suicide before that. And everyone was getting upset at me for absolutely no reason. And so, then like a few moments later, our scout leader person guy, I know, scout leader person guy, he was telling us a story about, and he turned to me and he's like, oh, you probably already know this. And I'm like, I most likely do. And he's like, alright, this one's also a riddle, but it won't take quite as long, because it took them over 2 days, well, over 24 hours to figure out mine, and that's because I told them the answer. But he was sitting there telling me, you know what, he's like, you probably already know this one. And I'm like, okay, I probably do. And he's sitting there, it's like, this guy hung himself. There was nothing around him that he could have kicked off of. So like, I don't know, I'm not going to demonstrate it. But he was hanging, nothing near around him, and there was a small little puddle of water, you know, just like, boom, puddle of water. I think that Enderman is suicidal. He just walked into that. There was a puddle beneath him, he was hanging above it, way too far up, and like, you were supposed to be an investigator. Everyone said it was murder, but you're the one who said suicide. You gotta figure out why. It's ice, okay? Hold on. Where is it? With it finally built up, because I just had some problems, it was about this tall, okay? And so he was sitting there, and the ice melted, okay? And it was just a bucket of water. And the guy was hanging there. Nothing nearby they could have fallen off of, gotten up on, just a puddle. And so I'm like, oh, yep, got it. Just in the puddle instance, I was like, boom, got it. No one else really got it. It was like, guys, really? It's ice, okay? The guy was standing on ice when he died. Now that I think about it, it's no surprise that they couldn't figure it out. Isn't that right, Zeke's older brother who didn't participate? Oh, I was flying, that's why. Isn't that right? And so, he was sitting there and he was telling me, he figured out before I did, somehow. And I was like, no you didn't. And he asked me, well like, I remember now. Because of that, I asked him, oh yeah, what's the answer? And he's like, I'm not telling you. I'm like, well why? And he's like, 'cause you didn't tell me. I'm sitting there, I'm like, are you sure? Because I remember having to give you the answer. Don't give him that. Hold on, gotta just use this for a little placing stuff. Boom, there's Justin. Now that just looks terrifying. Oh, there we go. There's his head. Got his head. But Justin was sitting there and he's like, I'm not telling you. I'm like, well, that's just being a jerk, don't you know? So that was over and I was like, oh, I don't like that. We go to our tent and he's throwing rocks at our tent. Well, it was my tent. I own it. He was throwing rocks at my tent. And like kneeling on it. He kneed my buddy Daniel or Nowhere right in the eye. Yeah, dealing with those people. That's just how it went. And then another time, hold on. Gotta kind of construct a scene here. So there was, you know, just that, just Zeke's older brother, Justin. I was sitting there, you know, minding my own business. We were playing, Werewolf, that's it. Spinning around. That kind of startled me, actually, when I first saw it. I was spinning around and just, ta-da. We were sitting there playing Werewolf, and I'm the first one to die. And so he leans over the table, no lie, he gets this close to my face, and laughs at me. Laughs at me. And so, of course, that was creepy. Hey, scout leader, when's lunch? Oh, no, he's gone. And so, of course, everyone, as we called it, lynched him. Because, you know, that was super suspicious. And he's like, I was a villager, idiots. And I asked him, why did you laugh in my face if you were a villager? And he's like, no, he leans over close again. Okay, this close yet again. And he says, because I hate you. Now I'm like, well, that's just a dirtbag thing to do. Alright, we gotta get to that story. Sorry, this has nothing to do with complaining. Hold on, I just need... Oh well. Actually, wait. So there was this kid who was standing right about... Hold on, the fire was not that bright, first of all. It was like that bright, you know, dying off. And so there was this kid, no, not that tall, he was really short. I need to do something about this. Sorry, it's my OCD, kind of. Okay, so he was standing there, you know, listening to this, no, not quite. He had this super bright flashlight, okay, and he wasn't that tall accurately, well, like, compared to a player, he was. I mean, that's just about how short he was. And he had this, like, flaming death torch of a flashlight. I need more netherrack. So the fire was dying off. You know, he didn't have his burning death light on. Scoutmaster, you want to listen in on this? Yeah? Okay. So, my buddy Zeke's older brother is sitting there, and, what should we call this guy? He's kind of violent. Let's call him... Terry. Yeah. Terry is sitting there telling the story. He's like, it was this, Judge Parker thing, and he's like, Judge Parker came to this camp way back before it was an actual camp, and the kid was kind of getting scared, and it's like, he only killed young kids because, wait, there are two Zekes. Zeke older brothers. I'm just gonna call him Zeke now, because that's a fake name that I just came up with. Zeke is sitting there, he's about to startle this kid, I don't know what I'm gonna call him, and Terry's sitting there telling the story, and he's like, oh, his son died in a fire, and he was trying to chop down the door, but there was nothing left, and some wooden beams fell in front of the door. Now his ghost roams the woods. Wait, where's... Oh, when you see him later, that's just Judge Parker. But he's like, oh, and his ghost roams the woods, and at night, he only sneaks up on the youngest of the kids, and he glances right over at him. Hey there, Daniel. He glances over at him, and he's like, he sneaks up on the youngest kids, glances over at him. And there's Zeke. Or Zeke's older brother, whatever you want to call him. I'll call him Zeke. There was Zeke sitting right behind him. About to get him. I was sitting over here. My buddy Daniel was like, here, need more heads. I just saw Judge Parker. Oh well. There were a few people on this bench. I was the only one over here. I saw Zeke sneaking up on the little kid. I don't know what I'm going to call the little kid, but I do know his real name. Don't worry. He's going to grab him and yell, but then he trips over a small pebble, accidentally falls on him. He didn't like hurt him or anything. He leaped up into the sky and fell back down like 5 feet away. By that I mean he like cleared the entire campfire and landed, turned around, and there was Zeke just standing there, holding himself up against these logs because he tripped. I'm sitting there laughing. Daniel has his head between his knees, covering his ears. Yeah, you. And Terry thinks he's done a great job. Oh, and Daniel and this Terry guy aren't related. Just saying, I just ran out of heads to use. So that was just great and funny. And this kid, not Jason, Justin, he was obsessed with this and he wrote JP everywhere. So like everywhere you could see in the dirt was just, I don't know, I'm not gonna write it, don't worry. I'm gonna spare you my terrible writing skills. But he was writing JP on anything he could find. It was so annoying. And a while back he was telling me about this girl he liked. Okay, now this is the segue. JP, and then you'll hear it later. This is the segue. And there was this girl he liked. Well, his girlfriend, emphasis on that, you know. And he loved her so much, and she cheated on him. But really, I doubt that she was ever his girlfriend or anything like that. Not right now. Sorry, I keep getting invites from that guy. We're in the woods. You can't invite me right now. But we're sitting there, and he's telling us about his girlfriend. And I'm just gonna make up a fake name, but same initials. Gina Johnson. And now that's not her real name, keeping in mind, but those are her initials, JJ. And I thought it was so funny that I was like, you know what, if I ever saw her, I'd be like, yo, JJ! And he turns to me and he's like, don't make fun of Gina. And that's not a real name, I know, but he's like, you don't make fun of Gina. And I'm like, ooh, getting all defensive. He was really upset at me, so whenever he did anything, like, oh, he kept calling me Mitchell and Michelle. So I'd just not pay attention to him, and every second he got more upset at me because I wasn't paying attention to him when he was calling me by the wrong name. So he'd be like, hey, Mitchell! And I'd turn to Zeke, or Zeke's younger brother, and I'd be like, who's Mitchell? I don't know what he's talking about. He'd sit over here with Daniel some of the time, you know, just sitting there doing whatever. Oh, and me and Daniel comparatively are about this tall. Yep, it's about accurate. However, this is definitely not accurate. It's closer to this. Actually, no. Half a block and then that on top if the physics worked correctly in Minecraft. Okay, so I thought that at this point I would actually do something. And I don't know, maybe would just have an outro. So, you know, I currently don't have any other links that I can set up. But, you know, if you like it, then subscribe. You know. You know. I enjoy making these videos, so, you know, tell all your friends.